This must be one of the best-known views of the Blitz in London, a crater in the middle of the High Street with a bus buried in it. But let's take a look at the tragic story behind it. This is Balham High Road. Balham is a suburb in London between Clapham and Tooting. It's on the Underground, on the southern extension of the Northern Line, and also on the main line from London to Brighton. During the Second World War, London was obviously a major target for enemy bombing, but its citizens also had a major advantage. Thanks to the Underground, they had a network of tunnels far below ground where they could take shelter. This had been used during the First World War. When war broke out again in 1939, though, official policy was that the Underground should not be used as a shelter. It would disrupt essential transport services. And the government feared the development of a shelter mentality where people would wind up just living underground. Winston Churchill, by then the Prime Minister, was actually in favour of tube sheltering though, and in fact wound up making his own underground headquarters at the abandoned Down Street station. Despite the potential risk to the moral fibre of the nation though, a number of abandoned and incomplete underground tunnels were pressed into service as shelters. And from September 1940, when the bombing really got underway, plenty of people decided that they were going to shelter in the tube whether the government approved or not. Soon the War Cabinet acquiesced and thousands of Londoners were sheltering underground. This brings us to Balham. Balham Station is built in a deep-level tunnel, but not massively deep. A deep-level air raid shelter was being constructed nearby at Clapham South. But on the 14th of October 1940, this was a month from completion. At the sound of the air raid siren, local residents made their way down to the platforms as normal. At 8:02 p.m, a bomb struck Balham High Road. It was a 1,400-kilogram semi-armour-piercing bomb, and buried itself quite a long way into the ground. It only detonated when it hit one of the cross passages of the station. The explosion created a massive crater the width of the street, tearing off the front of shops and causing the northern end of the northbound tunnel to collapse. A number 88 bus fell nose first into the hole. Worse was to come. The bomb had ruptured gas, water and sewage mains, and the tunnels quickly flooded. The water brought with it a devastating flow of mud and gravel. The station had flood defences. Indeed, similar floodgates had saved Tooting Broadway station a week before, but unfortunately, upon hearing the strange noise, some of the shelterers had slid one of the doors aside to see what was happening. The mudslide was too strong for them to close it again. The platform was buried up to 5 feet in some places. Exactly how many casualties there were was initially unknown. In the darkness and the chaos, it was hard to tell exactly what had happened. Witnesses were uncertain how many were caught in the flood. Initial reports suggested between 12 and 22 dead, and Lieutenant Colonel Mount, who carried out the first inspection, thought it might be less. Sadly, he was mistaken. As more information became available, it was clear that the number was considerably higher. The Commonwealth War Graves Commission gives the number as 66, although some sources put it at 68. Then began the grim task of clean-up and repair. Not only were there the risks still posed by the ground above, but the area was heavily contaminated by sewage from the ruptured pipes. Recovering bodies was difficult and unpleasant and continued through December. Workmen on the site were paid bonuses in view of the unpleasant conditions. The station would not reopen until the 19th of January. The destruction at Balham was, and remains, one of the worst disasters ever to hit the Underground, and was the worst to result from direct enemy action. In terms of number of fatalities, it is only surpassed by the Bethnal Green tragedy of 1943. Just a month after the disaster, a series of deep-level shelters would open along the Northern Line. These days there is little sign of the disaster. The street and the station have been fully rebuilt. However, there is a memorial plaque in the ticket hall. This has been replaced twice, the first time because the original only listed 64 dead, and the second plaque was replaced with a larger one in 2016. I hope you found this story interesting. If you did, then please hit the like button and subscribe for more. And I'll see you again very soon for another tale from the tube.